We'll call that good. All right, video by Samdoesarts. I found the biggest scam in the art world. Huzzah! Good on you.
What's up guys, so recently I made a video talking about the potential AI scams that were happening at art conventions and just warning people to be careful where they're spending their money. Now if you go looking for that video on my channel,
It's like the new NFTs. Well, technically, I don't know if NFTs were necessarily made by AI. Sometimes they would have been actually designed. The whole premise of NFTs is kind of, I don't know, it's stupid, seemingly, in my mind. But whatever floats your boat, I suppose.
now you're not going to find it because unfortunately James C. Mulligan Jimmy here has decided to file a wrongful copyright claim against my video and added a copyright strike to my channel. Now for those who are not familiar, Jimmy is a self-proclaimed Disney legend. He has done some work for Disney in the past and has since then really attached himself to the brand. But recently a lot of allegations have come out against James C. Mulligan and his potential use of Gen AI in his work as well as deceiving his customers at conventions. It was also noted by a lot of people online that he seemed to have plagiarized a lot of his paintings. When this copyright strike first hit my channel, I thought this must have been a mistake because every single image that I used here falls under fair use. Now I might be mistaken here, but I'm pretty sure Disney Lorcan
That you never could. That's kind of sucky.
on a
I've
flounder
heard that actually YouTube's like kind of copyright system is a little bit broken, and it would maybe be broken in favor of people who are making the claims or whatever. So there can be a lot of like frivolous stuff going on. That's something they should get on.
Ariel and Rapunzel
Disney Lorcana. Interesting.
belong to Disney and not James C. Mulligan. And to further prove this was done in bad faith, James has claimed the content was found in the entire video, when in reality the total time that all of those images are actually on screen adds up to less than 50 seconds. I counted. Now, I was going to let this one slide because
No tyranny like a petty tyranny, right?
I'm a man of peace, and we all get emotional sometimes. Understand it. I get it, Jimmy. But then I found out that he's been going around and doing the same thing to other YouTubers and striking other people's channels talking about this issue. Jimmy here appears to be on a campaign to take down all sorts of content that even remotely mention him using false copyright claims. This is just straight up bad practice. Inkwell, who made the very first video on this subject and whose video I cited in my last video, also got the same copyright claim. Now Jimmy here has also sent cease and desist letters to both Inkwell as well as the original kid who called him out on X.
He sounds kind of like a shyster. That's like defamation, harassment, false claims regarding artwork. A professional artist whose livelihood and reputation depends upon the integrity and originality of his created work. A formal demand. It sounds like, there's some element where I'm sure legal speak is necessary, but I also kind of hate it as well. It's kind of, it forms the function of making really evil people seem not as evil somehow. Again, I need to. Where is the best place to put this thing? So like, I guess it would maybe depend on the video itself. So I should watch through these things sometimes and keep an eye out for that. Might be something I get better at, just making sure my box isn't over anyone's head.
With this post saying his wife is now threatening me legally. Fortunately, I've not had the honor to receive a cease and desist letter from him yet, but I don't know, maybe I did. I just don't check my emails. Clearly in this scenario, Jimmy has
Out of sight, out of mind. Nice. Yeah.
very bad legal standing, and there is absolutely nothing that he could sue us for. This is unfortunately a pressure tactic that might actually work on smaller artists who are afraid of potential legal fees and
Well, I guess I don't know what this other dude's like financial state is, because that's another nasty thing about the legal system is that like if you have a lot of money, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, unless there's some sort of like anti-slap thing in place. It feels like it's kind of in favor of anyone who has money. They can just wring everything out of someone who doesn't have money. It's like super annoying / broken / evil /
involvements, and even of just James's self-proclaimed standing in the industry. Now, so far, this whole AI allegation against him seems more like a he said, she said type of deal because we cannot definitively prove that somebody actually used AI in their work. We can only have our suspicions. And just for the record, even if Jimmy did use AI,
Hmm.
I don't have a problem with him using
So, this thing, I actually wonder, like, what predictive AI. Well, not like I'm saying, like, I wonder, like, what it actually would be that they look for with regards to, like, like, testing whether or not something is AI.
AI, but I have a problem with him trying to sell it as something that he made himself. But again, that's not the point of this video because there is no definitive proof. What there is a lot of proof for, however, Jimmy, is blatant plagiarism. It is my personal belief
Yeah,
that this guy
the plot thickens. He he looks like an alleged plagiarist. Okay, look at him. He's even got the vampire teeth going on. For the record, I think I have those. Like the corner there looks like a canine
is just a very shady character
stabbing.
who has been grifting the
Yep.
art community for a long time. And I'm
Probably not the best pictures, but yeah, he totally looks like he would do that. That stuff.
surprised nobody has caught on until now, but here's a post on James C. Mulligan.
There's actually a whole genre of study that has to do with, well, I think it's kind of pseudo-scientific stuff where you're studying people's bone structures um, to conclude characteristics or something off of that. I forgot what the word for it is though.
By Gawky on Blue Sky Social. James C. Mulligan is going after videos and people who call him out for selling AI images. He's using copyright as an excuse to get them removed. So this is the first piece of evidence where he took a Bambi background, official background, and put it into his art. Now you can see the
Mm-hmm.
background versus the art, and there's going to be a layover here just like that. That's the background
Mm-hmm.
overlaid on top of the art, and it is a
It feels like it's just lazy. Right? Like I don't know, like it'd be like very, well, I guess I don't know, very easy, but it feels like it'd be quite easy, even to just change something a little bit about it that would make it, unrecognizable or at least somewhat original. So the notion that like you can't just, change where the log is or something. I don't know.
one for
I guess no one ever accused like criminals of having, or alleged criminals, alleged plagiarists of having a great work ethic. And that's kind of the reason they're plagiarists, I suppose.
one. And that's not even the worst part. So apparently the characters here are also traced. There's the original, and there's an overlay with James's version of these characters. The
Mm.
pose is a one for one. Now, I'm sure many of you guys know this, but it doesn't matter how skilled you are as an artist. If you reference something, there's going to be differences between that thing and your drawing. It's never going to line up one for one. So this being lined up perfectly is very suspicious. Going to start off that even if the final piece doesn't look like the original, he definitely starts off with the original. This is a post where he
Mm.
showed his process. The sketch is exact to the original, but the final is just a bit different. So if we take a look at that here, that is Jimmy's sketch, and that is the original reference that was used. Look at that. Again, a one-to-one
Mm.
copy. Oh
Mm.
my goodness. Look at that. I thought maybe he actually
You,
made this
it,
2014 one himself for a while, but the original is Steve Thompson's from
mm.
2013. So that is quite clearly a one-to-one copy in terms of the composition, the
It's
characters.
something I never would have really thought of, like that type of, you would never get that same proportions or, dimensions and whatnot.
The pose, his work from 2014 is not even a millimeter off from Steve Thompson's from 2013. Here's another one. Couldn't come up with a single original pose here except for maybe 3 characters out of 18 as OP overlays the original characters and drawings over James C. Mulligan's drawing. All of these characters that are in this image have a near identical, well, it's not near,
Mm.
sorry, basically perfectly identical overlay of that character in a different form done by a different artist. I mean, this is absolutely
Mm.
insane and it's just so very blatant. Even the portrait itself of Walt Disney. Here's everything all together compiled, and watch when it's turned off and on. Everything lines up perfectly. This piece he's been selling forever is just an inspired art
It's an homage. No, I don't.
germ copy, and honestly, I cannot tell the difference between the proportions, the shape language here. He
All
literally
right.
colored insane.
Too excitable.
That's as close as you could possibly get. If it's a collage, then tracing most of it is okay, right? I mean, goodness gracious.
Collage. I mean, now I need to look up collage. I was saying homage. Maybe that's a different thing. Collage. Sounds French. A work of art made by layering and gluing various materials like paper, photographs, or fabrics onto a surface. Interesting. So yeah.
More from coloring book pages, and even a scene directly from the movie when the characters bump elbows, but they're bumping air here. So here's an overlay placed on the drawing of James C. Mulligan. That's a still from the movie. And again, this overlaid over James C. Mulligan's drawing is a one-to-one. That is absolutely
In Minneapolis, your
So the
voice
clock is
matters.
on the other side.
Participate in our anonymous
insane.
I think this is what you would call like the definition of minimum effort here. Yeah, you can see his arms. Interesting.
Now, a lot of people thought this piece was actually AI because of the way he spelled space adventure, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to give James credit here. He actually drew this himself. He just copied it from a plastic toy. It's a one-to-one. Look at that. Even his originals might not be original in reference to his more traditional drawings. Milt drew a couple versions, with one being a perfect match.
But he added
Look
color.
at the way that lines up. I mean, this
He took away color, I guess. Well, no, I guess he would have added maybe some of his own color. So yeah, hey, kind of one of those draw by numbers things a little bit.
evidence is about as damning as you can get. He also copied Gregory Manches's amazing painting here. Now, this is the James C. Mulligan version, and that is Gregory's original. Now, if you take some of these characters and just overlay them on top of James's characters, oh my goodness, look at the way the poses match up. That is identical.
So,
And
like,
there's
at least
even
he did
more
the
where that came
background
from. If you just go on Reddit,
again. At least he did the background. He had a hat. What else is? I'm assuming this is his. Hand might be. I guess I don't know if that's attached to it or if that's something in the background too. That is strange though. Yeah, it's seems like an exact. Face is a little bit different. Face is a little bit different, but everything else is pretty much the same-ish.
you'll find that James actually copied another Lorcana artist. The left one was done by Brianna Garcia and was posted to her account in 2017.
Maybe it's just random. Maybe he's just happening to find the exact same pose with the exact same design with the exact same.
James posted the one on the right in 20.
Like even the hair is. Even the hair, even this, like that is uncanny resemblance there.
19. Here's another example of James C. Mulligan drawing characters over a direct still taken from the movie and selling it as his own work at art conventions. And when I was doing a deep dive background on James C. Mulligan here, I found this one interview that I found particularly interesting. The interviewer asks, what is an artist's role in society and how do you see that evolving? To which James C. Mulligan responds, I've heard people say that an artist's job is to tell the truth. I disagree. I think an artist's job is to lie to us in a way that we want to be lied to. We want to believe that Mary Poppins can fly. We want to believe that Monet's Lily.
Okay, that's an own goal. And maybe a little bit of a confession. All right. You guys can check that out if you want. Yeah. The guy seems like a prize winning jackass. Look it up if you want. Not Samdoesarts, that the guy he's talking about. But yeah, I found the biggest scam in the art world by Samdoesarts.